press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to your class. We are in the second chapter, that is culture. So in the previous class we discussed about a little introduction into the chapter. Today we will move further in understanding the definitions that are given, certain types of culture, and maybe we will get into few of the features in today's class. So let's see the definition of culture. Okay, this is given by E.B. Taylor. Alright, so according to him, let's see what does he say. E.B. Taylor. He says, or according to him, culture is that complex whole. Let me write it first. Culture is that complex whole which includes what? Which includes knowledge, belief, art, rules and regulations, okay, traditions and any other capabilities. We'll go word by word. Let me finish writing. Traditions and any other capabilities earned by human being as a member of the society. As a member of society. Okay, so let's understand this definition first and then we'll move further. So what does E.B. Taylor say? E.B. Taylor says culture is that complex, I'll read it for you once, listen carefully. Culture is that complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art and rules and regulations, traditions and any other capabilities earned by human being as a member of the society. Now you must have understood at least something in this, okay? Don't tell me you don't understand anything, at least something you will understand. We'll split it. Culture is the complex whole, okay? We'll split this. Culture is the complex whole. What does he say? Culture is something that is difficult, or it is not that easy to understand. It is a complex whole. It consists of many things to become a whole thing. Now, when you have dinner or lunch or food, can you have only rice? You need your sambar, you need your curry and other things, isn't it? You need vegetables or you need meat, whatever. Whatever you eat, apart from rice, for the taste that you want to get. Can you eat rice alone? You cannot be eating it. Culture is in the same way. It's a mixture of many things which makes it whole, okay, which makes it one. So it's a complex entity. It is very difficult to understand, alright, which includes, now we'll see what does that complex thing or what does that difficult thing include. What does it include? It includes knowledge, okay, whatever we are gaining. Now what you are studying is a form of knowledge that you are going to get, okay, knowledge, belief. What do I believe in? What are my values? What are my thoughts, okay, about anything that's happening in the society? Art, okay. Culture is also a part of art. Art is also a part of culture, okay. people have seen, now there are old paintings that are preserved. Why is it preserved? Because it shows us the culture of that time, art. Rules and regulations. Now society has our rules, isn't it? Society has their own regulations. Now when you come to school, don't you have your rules and regulations mentioned in your calendar? You do have, isn't it, that you will have to wear your proper uniform or with shoes, and you'll have to wear your ID cards, and you have to come at this time and go back at that time, okay? So you will have certain rules and regulations. Similarly, culture, when it is present in the society, also has rules and regulations to be followed. Rules and regulations, okay? Next is traditions. So we have our traditions, isn't it? Now each religion has its own tradition, their beliefs, their values. Similarly, in the society, culture also has its own traditions. Now why do we celebrate certain festivals very grandly? Why do we why is that we celebrate some festivals very grand and some we don't? Because that's the tradition that has come down, that these are the festivals that are very important and to be celebrated in its own way. Alright, so traditions. And any other capabilities, or if there are any other capacities that are there, if there is anything extra to be added, which is a part of the society, which is in turn helping us to be or be a part of culture, okay, anything that we can give to the society, all forms of part of it. Earned by the human being. Earned by the human being. Who is getting benefit out of it? A human being. How does he get a benefit? As a member of the society. When he becomes a member of the society, he gets the benefit of all these things. What are those things? He gets knowledge, okay? He gets his beliefs, he can get into art, he can, if you are not drawing a picture, at least you can see somebody else drawing it, okay? I am giving an example, but art can be in many other ways, okay? Rules and regulations. When he becomes a member of the society, he has to follow it. So it is man gets all these things when he becomes the member of the society, and when he becomes the member of the society, this becomes a whole picture, okay, all together. It's not split into parts, it is a whole, one whole single position that is there. What is whole there? Culture is whole, which is in turn difficult to understand because it consists of so many things said by E.B. Taylor. And this is his way of understanding culture. We will understand another person. Okay. Next person is Malinowski. Okay. He says culture is the tool created by human beings to design design what? Design his aims of life. Okay, is called culture. Continue the statement. Now what does Malinowski say? He says culture is the tool created by human beings to design his aims of life. So what you want to do in life, when you are setting a goal, that forms your culture. Okay, very simple. He has given it very simple. The tool that you use, okay, tool that human beings use to design his goals of life, to design his ideas. Now you may have a goal, isn't it? After I finish my studies, I want to become this, or I want to do this, I want to make my career in this or that field, okay? So what are you doing? You have your aim, you have your goal, you have an objective to do something. Same thing, this person says over here that whatever you aim, whatever objective you set, okay, is a part of your culture, or is called culture. Now how does culture form? If people are there, culture forms. If people are not there, culture is not there. And if culture is not being passed from generation to generation, it will go away, it will go extinct. The next generation will not know what is happening, isn't it? So that is why culture is also important, because it shows us if it shows us what had happened in the past, and it's going to show the future generation what has happened with us, alright, in the present generation. Now we will see a few types of culture. Okay, types of culture. Now culture is divided into two now, material and non-material. Okay, material and non-material. Now material includes all physical objects okay, that are visible to the eyes. Visible to the eyes, as well as the tools that are used by humans. Okay, non-material is, it can't be seen. Our thoughts, beliefs, ideas, values. So what is culture divided into? Culture is divided into material and non-material. Okay, material is physical objects or things that you can see, and tools that humans use. Okay, they are physically present. Now thoughts are also physically present in your mind, but with your being, but you will not be able to see them. You will not be able to guess certain things. Those are non-material things, especially your thoughts, your beliefs, your ideas and your values. Alright. Now who divides this into material and non-material is Ogburn. Okay. Ogburn is divided into material and non-material. This is a basic definition. We will see according to Ogburn what does he have to say. Okay, moving on, let's see what Ogburn has to say. He says, okay, he is talking about material and non-material culture. We will see material culture first. According to him, material culture is created by human beings. Okay, created by humans for what? To convert natural resources convert natural resources into man-made structures or for the use of human beings. See, what does he say is, he says material cultures is created by humans. Okay, we ourselves create them by using the natural resources that are present in the earth, natural resources that are present in and around us, okay, and make them into man-made structures like build a house, okay, build the road, okay, construct the road, construct a dam, so construct a machine, alright. So structures like house, dam, roads. Now all these are done for our benefit, isn't it? Okay, etc. and etc. See, it's given here: house, building, bridge, road, dam, machines, production centers, industries, computer, technology, and etc. and etc. So material culture is called as civilization. That is how man has lived. What has man done in those areas? Alright, civilization. Now material culture, whatever under material culture is there, it has taken, made a change very soon. Okay, it didn't take a lot of time to make change, but it took its change very soon. So change happened very soon. So change happened soon. Non-material culture, according to him, okay, is human achievements. Whatever we achieve, whatever we get. Now you get a prize in your school activity is an achievement. That is a non-material thing. Okay, non-material thing. Like our traditions, our beliefs, our rituals, customs, our values, ideals, art, literature, religion, language. Okay, these are examples of non-material culture. This will go on and go on. Now if you take language, you and I speak a certain language, we can speak other languages also, and then it will pass on, and then it will go on and go on until somebody stops speaking and the language goes extinct. Otherwise literature will continue, art will continue, okay, achievements will keep on continuing, people will still keep on achieving. If you have not achieved, there will be somebody else who is achieving, or else you are also thinking, you are having your beliefs, you are having your traditions. So all these form a part of non-material things. It's easy to understand material things and non-material culture, material culture and non-material culture. Understand it in terms of material things and non-material things. Now material things is whatever around us, isn't it? You sit on your bench is a material thing. You do anything how is that bench made? Made of the natural resources that are there, isn't it? You need wood for your furniture. You need certain things to do your furniture. And that is how material culture also takes its place. So understand it again, material culture is created by humans. Okay, for what? From what? From the natural resources that are present, and they made man-made structures. Like they built houses, they constructed dams, they constructed roads, okay, they used it for many other purposes, okay, and that was a part of civilization. Next, this change that was there, that from the ancient time man was there. Now you have studied in history, if you have studied in history, you know how man evolved, what kind of tools man used. Do we use the same tools now? No, right? The civilization then was different, the civilization now is different. We have evolved, we have understood things, and we have used the natural resources to make what? Man-made resources. For our purpose. Did man at that time have buildings? Did man that time have benches, desks, tables to sit and write upon or do whatever with furniture that is there? He didn't have. But he knew how to live at that time. Because all this was never invented. All this he didn't know at all. Okay. So that is how it is happening. this change that was there. Now if you go back to your history lesson and read it again, what has happened there? Man learned many things, man learned to use tools. Man went to grasslands and he thought that, okay, I can do something over here. Immediately grass started growing and man thought, okay, I can start making something. Changes like that took place suddenly. Changes happened soon, okay? Sudden changes that happened there in the process of making a civilized society. Now, non-material things are our achievements, our thoughts, our traditions, our beliefs, okay? You can see, it's not necessary that you must follow a certain tradition. It's up to you, isn't it? Because it's running in your family, maybe you are accepting it, or maybe your friends like it, or whatever it is, okay? That's how traditions pass on, and certain religious leaders or certain religion emphasizes on certain traditions that you have to uplift and keep them always. Now we'll see certain features of culture. We'll see how many we can see today. See students, your textbook is not difficult, okay? You read at least one lesson thrice, okay, 3 times. Read it 3 times. Underline the words that you don't understand and then refer a dictionary. Understand, translation dictionary is the best for you to learn now, alright? Then leave certain words that you don't understand. If you really cannot understand the first reading, leave them. When you get into the second reading, as you have underlined in the first reading, underline it. And that's how you improve, that's how you improve to talk also. Okay, so don't be specific to something that has always been given to you. Okay, so start learning with the time that is coming. Every language is important, students, you must understand, okay? Every language is important in its own way. So, in a certain place, maybe this language will function. In other place, another language will function, where you will not be able to use the language that you already know, because there people speak a different language. But when you come to a common language, if it's good, then both can communicate, isn't it? So you will have to also start learning. Make your effort. It's not that difficult that you think, okay? It's easy. Understand, read it nicely and understand. Features of culture. See, you don't need to look up to any other books. Your textbook only has rich words, okay? Your textbook has good words. Take those words first, and the next year you can maybe continue with other things that you want to read. First focus on your text. It's not only this subject, okay? All your other textbooks are written in English itself, isn't it? So focus on those words that are there. That will help you improve. And that's your hard work, students. You must put in a little of hard work. Okay, we'll see a little bit of features and then I'll explain it. First one is culture is abstract. Culture is abstract, okay? Now, understand, see, now if you are finding reading this textbook difficult, it is abstract, okay? Certain things are not that taken that easily. Now, why is culture not taken? Because as it is passing on from one generation to another generation, there are modifications or there are changes that are done there. And with these changes, it starts becoming more and more complex, okay, more and more difficult as the time passes. Now, if you have a festival at home, okay, but your parents know all the rituals, okay, when you have to do your puja and when you will have to give you sweets, how you will have to welcome your guest, your parents know all the rituals, but you don't know it, and your parents ask you to do certain things on that day. Will you not struggle? You will struggle because you don't know what that is. You will struggle because you find that difficult. So when they have known, the older generation, our parents have known that, okay, these are the rituals that have to be done. but at this age you don't know, okay, or at this age we will not be knowing what has to be done. So when we don't know and when we lack certain knowledge, it becomes an abstract form for us, okay, and that is how it becomes shortened also sometimes. See what grandparents knew. Now if you go to your grandmother, surely she will at least know some 2 or 3 medicinal plants which will help you for certain diseases. Do we know? We don't know it, because our world has become very digital, our world has become very easy now. Just on your fingertips, you want anything, just right outside your house you have your bazaar, everything is easily available. Okay, anything, just press on your phone, everything comes to your doorsteps, isn't it? So what is happening here is, as it is passing on from one generation to generation, it starts reducing, okay, abstract, becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. In another 4 generations, it's going to get lost. Okay, that means we will not be knowing what that tradition is, we will not even know what the ABCD of that tradition will be. So that is abstract. Next one is, culture is social. Okay, culture is social. Now culture is for everybody, it's not my personal thing, isn't it? I cannot take, oh, okay, this culture is my personal thing, you have nothing to do with it. No, culture is for everybody, it is social, we are social beings. We stay in the society, and that is why it's for everybody. We share food, we share our ideas, we have entertainment with people, we talk to each other, all part of socialization that you do, isn't it? All part of social processes, that is, you go and talk with your friends, with your family, with your neighbors, you play with them, you go on to see some movies with them, okay, you share your food with them, you share your traditions with them. So it is social, nothing is my own, nothing is my personal, nothing. Okay, so that's why it's social. Culture is learned. Okay, culture is learned. You are learning. As soon as you are born, do you know what kind of culture is there at your house, or what kind of traditions your people in the house follow? You don't know. We are learning as we are growing, isn't it? We learn. Now, how do we learn? One is through our family members who we interact with in the beginning. As we are a child, it's our family members who have a lot of influence on us. As we come out, we meet the members of the community, we meet members of the society, and that is why through the process of socialization, that is, you are talking to me, I am talking to you, we are talking to many people, is socialization. That word is there in page number 144, okay. Now, through this process of socialization is what a child learns, what its traditions are, values are, beliefs are, how I have to mingle with people, how I have to talk with people, okay. So it is learned. We are learning as we are growing. Certain behaviors are also learned, okay, how you should behave where, what you should talk where, what you shouldn't be saying, all is also learned. Next, culture means coexistence. Culture means coexistence. What is coexistence? Existence is your there, surviving, living. Co is with others. So I learn to live with others. I learn to share with others. Okay. Then coexistence, being in coexistence, you get a lot of opportunities. Now it's only when you talk to others, it's only when you go out and gain knowledge, seek knowledge of something that you don't know, you get a lot of opportunities, alright. So coexistence also happens by sharing our traditions, our beliefs, our thoughts. That is, we are existing with others, we are living with people around us, that is the society. Culture is continuous. Okay, culture is continuous. Culture will not stop. Okay, in the previous example I told you, your things become abstract, but they still are there, isn't it? Now if your parents knew 10 rituals, when it comes to us maybe we know 7. The next generation may be knowing 5, 3, and it goes on and goes on. Even if it comes to 1, okay, they will have their own new invented ways of doing it. Okay, so this is a long generation, yet it goes on when it becoming abstract, but it is continuous. It has been a continuous process, isn't it, to all these generations. So culture is continuous. Whatever you do, or whatever culture, traditions, beliefs you teach to the others will always continue. They will continue to the next generation. The next generation will continue it. So you may see, your parents may be knowing 10 of them. You know 7 of them. You will teach 7 of them, isn't it? 2 will be left in the way, but at least 5 will be taken, isn't it? So that's how it is continuous. Even though it has slight changes, even though it starts reducing, yet it is going forward, so it is continuous. Culture is diverse. Culture is diverse. That is to say, there is no uniformity. Now, when you come to school, you wear uniforms, isn't it? Everybody looks the same, in the same clothing, same color, isn't it? Same material. Everybody is wearing a similar kind of clothing. But if you are told to wear your color clothes on a certain day, everybody will look different, isn't it? Everybody will look colorful. That is being diverse. Okay, diversity. When you are in uniform, you have uniformity. When you are in color clothes, you are diverse, you have diversity. Alright? So culture is also the same. Each community has its own traditions, isn't it? So that is why many people have many things, and that is how in turn it becomes diverse. Language is there, belief is there, our own art is there, music is there, dance is there. It depends on the region, okay, depends on the region, religion, this society there. People in a village, even if they belong to any religion, they still practice certain traditions. They feel as a family there, okay, they feel as a whole being there, okay. Now food habits can be different. What is there in the South Karnataka, what's there in North Karnataka, what's there in between is all maybe different. People may not get adapted to different kinds of food habits unless and until your body supports you for those needs, and your body takes a switch to that kind of food. So this is how we are diverse, this is how we are different from everybody, and this is how a culture is. So these are the features of culture. Read it for yourself until we meet in the next class, students. Thank you very much.